Hello and welcome to the Oxygen Addict Triathlon Podcast. We're brought to you every week by our sponsors, PrecisionHydration.com.
Personalise your hydration strategy with electrolyte supplements that match how you sweat, helping prevent dehydration and cramp. You can get a free box or tube of Precision Hydration worth up to $9.99 with the code OxygenAddict.
We're also brought to you by WeAreTribe.co.
Natural sports nutrition delivered direct to you. You can get a free trial pack of 6 delicious energy bars, trail mix, recovery bars and shakes for just £1 by using the code OxygenAddict1.
And fueledbycake.com.
Get your hands on my charity cake recipe book and some awesome recipes from loads of sporty people like Chrissy Wellington and Emma Pooley and Vicky Holland. It's only £10 and it's all for charity.
And also a big thanks to our patrons who support the show with a monthly donation. You can find out more by clicking on the link in the show notes or on the main page on our website where we host the show. And welcome to the show. Hello, Hells. How are you doing?
Well, Rob, I've just been affected by some very odd noises coming from your end. I'm a little bit, I'm speechless, to be honest.
It's just a little burp. That's all. That's all it was. Just a little burp.
And then you went to the other end and tried to fart down a microphone.
We don't need to tell the listeners this.
I suddenly thought, maybe Rob's just like on a bit of... You said you were ill. Maybe you've like OD'd on some kind of Lemsip and you're just like, woo!
It's all good. It's all good fun, isn't it?
We might be hyper tonight. Rob, guess what?
What? What's going on?
I have finally, my alarm is not going to go off tomorrow morning at 4:45.
Oh, great. You're out of the other end of it, are you?
I'm out of it. For the first time in 23 days, the alarm is not going to go off and I don't have to go to work.
That's been a long old shift for you, hasn't it?
It makes me very happy indeed, yeah. Honestly, I walked out today and it was almost like I had quit my job or something. I was so happy.
Released into the sunshine and snow.
Oh, freedom. Yes, that's good. Good feeling. And hopefully I can, I'm not really sure what I was going to say. Hopefully I can just get back into a little bit of training and stuff rather than
normal
being
life for you, hey?
Yeah, rather than being a zombie. That'd be exciting.
Woohoo! All right, so coming up on this week's show, we've got the Tribe Triathlete of the Month. We've got some results coming up. We have got Coach's Couch. We've got an interview of the week. Who's our interview with this week, Hells?
Mr. Norwegian.
Kristian Blummenfelt is on the show today. Talking all things excitement at both 70.3 and WTS level as well, right?
Oh, loads to chat to him about. Yeah, definitely. Really good of him to give up his time so soon before the first WTS race of the season. So we chatted a little bit about that and a bit about racing against the Brownlees and how he got into it all and why he's not on cross-country skis, etc., etc.
Good stuff. And then to round us off, we've got a little bit of news as well coming to you from Triathlon Land. So I think what we'll do, we'll kick it off with the winner of this month's, of February's Tribe Triathlete of the Month Award. So who takes the honours, Hells? Who wins the Tribe Booster Pack with loads of goodies in?
So the nomination came in from Stu Ross, and he said that he would like to nominate his friend. So the winner this month is Rob Wadsworth. So he will be winning all those Tribe goodies. And basically, as Stu got in touch and he said Rob's in his late 30s. He's from Yorkshire. He only took up triathlon a few years ago, and he recently moved out to Dubai with his family, where the heat and everything is like just horrific for a pasty Yorkshire man, in his words. He said that he had no bike and he didn't have any friends to help out. He really didn't have much of a clue. But Stu says that he's been totally inspired by the way that Rob has not given up with this new love of the sport of triathlon, and he carried on training and putting all the hard work in. And earlier this month he achieved something pretty cool, Rob. He completed his first ever 70.3 in just over 5 hours.
Nice work. Especially when you consider you're riding around in circles on a bike track out in Dubai as well. It takes some serious dedication to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth all the time, doesn't it?
Exactly. So really, really inspirational tale there from Stu nominating Rob. So the Triathlete of the Month goodies will be heading out.
Heading your way, Rob, via your friend Stu Ross, no doubt. So you win a booster pack containing 18 products, including 4 Infinity bars, 4 Blaze Trail bars, 5 Recovery bars, 5 protein shakes, and a nice white Tribe t-shirt to help keep the sun off your back as you're training out in Dubai as well. So keep those nominations rolling in for us for the March Athlete of the Month. I think we're going to get some duathletes nominated next month, Hells. I think as that British duathlon season kicks off, I think we're going to start seeing some duathlon performances nominated as well, hey?
I think you're right. I think everyone's going to be, dusting off the race kits, aren't they now?
Sure are.
We're nearly there.
We're nearly there. And remember, listeners, you can also get yourself a trial pack of 6 energy bars, trail mix, recovery bars and shakes for just £1 by using the code OxygenAddict1 at wearetribe.co. Basically, you're not even paying the postage to get those delivered straight through your door. So it's a no-brainer to keep your tummies full during the winter training rides. Get on it. wearetribe.co and use the code OxygenAddict1 to get yourself a sample pack for just £1. Rock and roll.
Awesome. Rob, shall we crack on? There hasn't been a whole load of racing, has there?
I tell you what, my Athlete of the Week award goes to you for actually managing to find an event that's happened for our results section, Hells.
Thank you. I did do some digging.
Slim pickings, baby. Yeah, so you did manage to find, didn't you? You managed to find one. Before we tell you what it was, we're going to give a shout out to our friends, the sponsors of this section, precisionhydration.com. They are the guys to go to for all your salt tabs. We've had some good tweets and Facebooks coming in from people who have been down to the old triathlon show and met the guys this weekend. So I think it was.
I was going to say, Rob, it was a lot easier to find photos of people who had been at the down at the London Triathlon show compared to how difficult it was to find a result this week. A lot of people.
Maybe that's the event in itself, hey?
I think it was, to be honest. A lot of people down there. Obviously, Precision Hydration were there talking about all things hydration and personalised hydration plans and everything. And I saw lots and lots of photos of various people who've been giving inspirational talks and different stands. So, yeah, always apparently quite difficult to get to, though, this year, Rob.
Oh, right. I didn't hear that. I saw loads of people with photographs with Lucy Gossage.
Yeah.
She seems to be the word selfie is not the word, is it? But the kind of have a photo with me mate winner was definitely Lucy from all the photos I've seen on social media. Her heading, her outfit.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Good. So remember, you can get yourself a box or a free box or tube of Precision Hydration worth up to $9.99. Just use the code OxygenAddict at precisionhydration.com and that'll get you, it's more than a free sample, isn't it? 10 quid's worth. Absolute no-brainer to see you through the rest of the indoor training, which looks like it's going to continue for a while yet with this weather coming in, mate.
Oh, the beast from the east, Rob.
The beast from the east. Yeah, we had snow here this morning, did you?
Just a few flakes this afternoon, but nothing really settled. But I'm waiting for the big dumping of, I don't know, white stuff. Wind.
Close their school. Close their school.
Yeah. Yeah. What? I'm not really sure what's coming.
You'd see the flakes coming down, and you'd be like, "Oh, they have to close the school." Don't know, it stopped. Damn it, they're not going to close it.
I remember the school closing around, February one year. Probably around half-term time because it just seemed like the best time for the school to have to close. 4 days because the heating broke after some really, really cold weather. It was like, this is just great.
All the kids celebrate.
Yeah, and all the teachers go, oh no, when are we going to squeeze in that last chapter of Macbeth?
Let me tell you, my experience is that the teachers were not saying that at all. They were in the pub, not thinking about Macbeth.
Scary. Happy days.
All right, so what results did we find? Come on, Hells, what was it?
So, Xterra South Africa took place, Rob.
Okay.
And it was won by Bradley Weiss, the Xterra World Champion.
Jolly good.
And it was also Karina Vasile of Austria won the women's race, claiming her third Xterra South Africa title. Now, Rob, Jodie Kanama and James Kanama were also there.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Racing or?
Well, not doing it individually, but Jodie was in a mixed team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did see this. And she swam really well, didn't she?
Yeah, she said swam far better than where I thought my fitness was at, which is good. And then James' men's team came second. So they were doing some charity work as well at Xterra South Africa.
Oh, very
so that's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed. How long has Jodie been a mum for now? How old's her child? About 6 months?
Yeah, I want to say kind of like November time.
So it's not long at all, is it?
No, really not that long.
Good effort.
I might be wrong with November. It might be like October-ish, but I'm pretty sure it's November.
Big boost to come out and swim well when you're not, you sort of have that, I'm not really in shape. Oh, look at that, I am. It's always nice when it happens, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Because I heard something recently, an interview with James actually, and he was saying that she kept up her fitness big time during the pregnancy. But obviously, when we had a few different people on, and you're never going to be quite at that level straight away, obviously. So it does take a lot of work and hard work. So yeah, really, really good that she's already back. And I think she's got her eye on hopefully competing at the 70.3 World Championships in South Africa later this year.
Right, yeah, of course.
But she'd obviously have to qualify, so I don't know how that'll work out, or where she'll go.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Oh, we'll watch that one with interest then, hey?
Correct.
The comeback starts here.
Well, yeah. Or the just return to action.
The return of the Swallow. I suppose she's technically not the Swallow anymore, is she?
No.
That was a cool name. Follow the Swallow. I thought that was the best website name ever.
Right, Rob, shall we crack on?
Yeah. Coach's Couch this week. We've had a question from David Irwin.
Yep, so David says, with the atrocious weather this winter, I'm spending more time inside cycling. Should it be on a watt bike or my TT bike set up on the turbo?
Oh, the eternal question, isn't it? I think, here we go. I think in an ideal world, I encourage my athletes to train on their TT bike inside as much as they can, like keep it set up on the turbo and use it and train in the position that you're going to be racing in during the winter. But that ideal situation is going to be not compounded by, but backed up by the fact that I like people to have numbers to look at and to see that they've got something that's improving in their fitness as they go along. And it's very hard to see something improving if you're just using heart rate. So if you've got a TT bike with a power meter, perfect. Use that inside all winter. I think the next best thing is to do at least a block of training aimed at a specific element of your fitness on a watt bike. So you can set the watt bike up in different positions and have the handlebars at different heights and have the saddle forwards and backwards and stuff. I think the way to go is to try and replicate your race bike position as much as you possibly can. At the very least, try and get the saddle into the same sort of position that it'll be on your race bike, because it tends to be that TT bikes in particular, the saddle is much, much further forward than it will be on either sort of a normal spin bike in the gym or whatever, or even a road bike. So if you can get the saddle forwards, you can be activating those different muscle groups that'll be much more specific to that kind of race position. So that's the ideal one. And again, look for using it for specific sessions. I think if you're going to go to a gym that's got a watt bike, you don't just want to be sitting on it and riding and watching the cricket on in the background. You want to be doing your interval sessions on it, and you want to be recording the sort of numbers you've been putting out and looking for increases in that over a block of whatever it is, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or whatever. And as the season approaches, in general, try more and more to ride in your race position as much as possible. So if you've got a TT bike with power meter, always go with that. The next best thing is a measurable number that you can look at and hopefully quantify some improvements over your winter period or the training block that you're on. I think I remember you saying, Hells, your athletes that have been using the spin bikes with power meters have been loving them, haven't they, in your class this winter?
Yeah, definitely, because it does give you something to aim for, and it's just you can absolutely see where you're at, where you're meant to be, at. And when you have a day when you don't quite get it, you're not quite where you are, you kind of think, oh, but then you'll have another week and you're there and it's all fine. But yeah, it's definitely helpful having that number to try to aim towards. And it almost takes away, I've said to you, I've always done heart rate monitor only. So to have something else to go on has been really interesting and very useful, and I can see straight away it's very, very different just training with heart rate.
Yeah. And again, going back to what you said a minute ago about Jodie Kanama sort of being surprised at how good her swim was after having had a break, I think that illustrates a point that even a multiple world champion has a mind that tells her, I haven't done what I used to do for quite a while, and so probably I'm not anywhere as fit as I used to be. And all of our minds tend to tell us that if we're not in a regular sort of routine of doing something every couple of days, our minds tell us, oh, it's been ages since you've done this, you're probably rubbish again, And
that's where I'm at, Rob.
Well, lots of people are this time of year, Hels, and the reality is that isn't the case at all.
No,
and
but even
having those... Go on, sorry.
Well, no, but even but I really haven't done the kind of training that I would have done over the past 4 years.
No, that's true. But what probably isn't true is the reality of where your fitness is compared to where it used to be. If you compare that against where your mind is telling you that it is and where it is against reality, the two are probably further apart than you think. That you're probably nowhere near as far away from your peak fitness as you think you are, just because you're out of that really, really regular habit of exercising. I mean, you've still been training, I don't know how many times a week, but if you're on the bike twice a week, I think you'll find there's not any kind of drop off in fitness. You can keep that fitness there, not at a peak level, but at a really good level, on much less training than it takes to build that training up in the first place. So I think you'll be really surprised at how well you go, as most people are when they get back into it. And just having those numbers to look at in training can really illustrate that to you if you're not training 2 or 3 times on a bike regularly every week.
Yeah, this is quite true. I'm now hoping that this sort of stint, now that that's out of the way, that I can do a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then it'll go out the window again for another stint in like March and April. But never mind, I think this year, Rob, sometimes it's okay just to have a different focus, and it's probably quite a healthy thing sometimes just to break it all up a bit.
And I think it's going to be really interesting for you to see when you do get back into sort of, all right, I'm focusing on training for an event now. If you do 6 weeks of focused training, you've kept this I am fit enough to train level of fitness. So when you get into training, you're ready to train again. It's not like someone who's let it all go over the winter and has to rebuild that ability to even train back-to-back days again before they get shelled. I think that's going to be the biggest thing that you notice.
That's very, very interesting. And Rob, the good news is I'm definitely running okay now.
Good. Injuries all on the road to recovery, shall we say, rather than cleared up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm confident that I'm saying that with confidence. Definitely.
Love it.
Yeah, which is great.
That's really good. I'm pleased to hear that because it's been a long road for you.
It's been a wee while. Shall we listen to Mr. Kristian Blummenfelt?
Let's do that. Let's go straight over to our interview of the week this week, which is with Helen's favourite, Mr. Norwegian.
It is. And Rob, I'll tell you one thing before we actually hit play.
Yeah.
Well, it seems very right that we're talking to him this week because Norway finished top of the medal table at the Winter Olympics. So, we're going to continue the Norwegian theme, basically.
Good stuff. You get the feeling he could well have been extremely useful at whatever sport he turned his mind to, can't you?
Well, yeah, as you'll hear, soccer or many other things. So here we go. Here is our interview of the week. Kristian Blummenfelt, hello and welcome to the Oxygen Addict Triathlon podcast. How's it going?
It's going well, thank you.
Are you watching a lot of the Winter Olympics as a proud Norwegian?
A little bit, yeah, I try. Unfortunately, it's like happening during the night, most of it, so it's hard to either get up that early before morning session to watch TV but yeah, I try to follow as much as I can.
Were you on skis before you were on a bike?
I think every Norwegian have like doing a little bit of skiing, like in the vacation, but I've never been competing like in skiing. I'm from Bergen, where it's mostly like raining, and the condition for skiing is not that good, so I've been more like into football and stuff like that.
More like a British person.
Yeah, I guess so.
So how did you get into triathlon then?
I used to play football and doing swimming, so I'm actually coming from swimming, even that's my weakness now in triathlon. And as a swimmer, I was like training really, really hard, but I didn't get the same progress as the other athletes around me. So at one point, I was like running better than I was swimming, even I was competing in swimming. So then my swim coach told me to try something different, like open water swimming or triathlon or something something outside of the pool, because he realized that I would never be reaching my potential in the pool. So then he found like a list of different triathlons that he thought I should give it a try, and then one summer I showed up in the local triathlon here in Bergen, and it went quite well. And a few months later, I got contacted by a guy in the federation, wanted to start up a new national team, and I was lucky to be one of 4 guys to start up with the national team that we now have today.
And that was what, like 8-9 years ago?
In 2008. So then we were like 4 youth athletes, so I was like 14 when we started, and the other athletes were like 13 or 14 and 15, and we were like really young, and they tried to build up the national team from scratch, and since then we have been like going from youth to junior and now senior national team.
And from that bunch of guys, have you absolutely well and truly been the most successful? Are the others still competing now?
Yeah, they are. So we have actually the same kind of base. For example, Jørgen Gunnarsson, he was like one of the 4 back then, and you also have Gustav Iden, who is also racing the World Series. So we are like the same group actually today, who were like starting in the beginning. So it's great to be part of, like, we have a really great environment in the national team, and obviously there's someone who's like dropping off throughout the years, but there's still some of the same faces.
And that's really quite cool that you've all been through it together. You're there to sort of support each other, but equally you know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and actually, you know, we know in Great Britain that a lot of our triathletes have been so successful because they are in a really, you know, tight-knit group and training environment.
I think it, like, all when we started, we were all choosing to be in the sport. Like, it was like a decision we took ourselves, so we've been always really motivated to do the job and to do the training. No one have really been pushing us into it. So I think that has been helping the training environment, that we all have like taking this decision to be there. So it's like, that's why I think the training environment is so strong in the team.
And obviously Norway isn't the place where you'd think, great, I'm going to go and train all year round in Norway. You know, the climate isn't exactly amazingly suited. So do you spend a lot of time on training camps in places like Playitas?
No, yeah. We try to escape as much as possible. So we do a lot of training in Spain. Maybe as much as we are in Norway, we are in Spain. So we used to go to Las Playitas twice a year during the winter, and also to Sierra Nevada twice a year. And in the midsummer we try to go to Font-Romeu and stay there. So we are traveling a lot as a group, as a national team, to different places together and training together.
And that's quite unique, really, isn't it, for a national team to all be together?
Yeah, I think maybe that's our strength in Norway, that we're able to stay and working together like we are. Very often you see like athletes starting to compete against each other because you only have like 3 spots for Olympics, and they're looking at each other as instead of teammates. It's like more competition inside the team, and so far we've been able to avoid that, and I think it's been good. Yeah.
Talk us through last season. Why was it so good for you? What did you do differently, or was it a confidence thing? But last year really was an incredible season for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It turned out to be really great. I felt like I got a little bit of the taste in 2016 with the World Cup win in both Montreal and in Italy, and the podium in Yokohama. But I felt like I've been in great shape for years, but I haven't been able to get it out in the World Series. Only done like good races in the French Grand Prix and some local races, but every time I showed up in the World Series, I felt like I did some smaller mistakes. So actually 2016, when I finally got on the podium, I felt like, yeah, now I'm able to get it out in races, and it just happened more in 2017. I have been able to train really well since the end of 2015, and the progress has been really good.
What was your highlight, would you say, from last year?
It's hard. I was go for Bahrain, since I was like at the end of the year. I felt like I was so close to miss it. With that, I hit the wall so badly on the last lap there, and I really thought that, okay, I'm not going to get the win anyway. So I was like 90% sure that I would get second place, even I had like a minute lead. So I think that was like to cross the finish line there were definitely the highlight of the year. It was also good to have that good I don't know, 2 months of racing in the World Series at the end of the year. I managed to go from like 10th place to 3rd in the overall standing. It was like a good 2 months as well.
I love watching you race because you just look like your face is like, I am not giving up. And at some phases towards the end of the run, it looks sometimes like you maybe drop off slightly at kind of kilometre 8 or something like that. And then suddenly, kilometre 9, you're like right back there fighting for a podium place.
Yeah, but I just know that if I'm standing there after the race and finishing like 5th or 6th, and thinking back that maybe I could have pushed a little bit more to get on the podium, that would be like hitting myself for 2 or 3 weeks. So it's better to take that pain in the race instead of having that like bad feeling for 2-3 weeks after the race. It's way better to just squeeze it in and keep up with the pain.
Did you find last year absolutely new levels of pain?
No, maybe different. It's just about being able to realize that it's just like 3 or 4 minutes left of the race. When you're at the end of the race, it might be hard to understand how short it is left. Like 3 minutes can feel like 10 minutes. So it's just about understanding that it's just 2 minutes and 55 seconds or so left. I can keep up with that. It's not that long. So just about understanding how short it is left. I think that's the biggest thing.
And is that what you tell yourself, at, say, kilometre 9 or something like that? You just get to that sodding finish line?
I like to on that final lap. I like to think back on, for example, if I've done a track session on that final K on the track, just trying to get the same rhythm, the same speed, even it's not like I'm not as fresh as I were on the track session. I just try to get the same feeling in the corners and on the run. So just try to look back and try to copy that feeling.
And who do you love racing against? You know, top three that you love racing against it because they bring out the best in you in the World Triathlon Series.
Oh, that's the Brownlees and Gomez. They are like the greatest athletes to ever be in the sport. So it's always great to be on the start line with them. So especially Alistair, he's like a really strong racer. So it's always like a highlight to see if he's on the start line.
The first race that you did when you were, on the same start line as the likes of Brownlee and Gomez, obviously they are a few years older than you. Did you find it hard to believe? Did you have to pinch yourself a little bit to actually think, "Oh, I'm actually here"?
I think the first time I raced against them, they were in Yokohama. I was a junior, but then I didn't really see much to them. They were like in the first pack. I was in the third, so I didn't really see much, and I got a puncture. But then first time I kind of saw Johnny. They were in a French Grand Prix race, and I was like riding up to him, and it was like really special to see like the Brownlee name on his back, and it's always been like a highlight if they're racing there. And so it's always like, when I was younger, it was like so cool to just be in the group with them, if I managed to be in the same group.
And now I guess you feel, when you're in that same group, you probably feel part of it. And do you enjoy the being bossed around by the Brownlees? They have a good reputation, don't they, for sort of controlling the race in the pack?
Yeah, I like it that they are taking responsibility in the group and that they are keen to work. I will not say that they are not really bossing around with me, because maybe I'm letting them know if I'm not agree or not. So, but so we are maybe on the same page there. But yeah, it's always great to be racing against them, because we have kind of the same attitude for racing. We're all keen to go hard, and it's suiting our strengths to work together.
Bahrain 70.3. What made you want to try the 70.3 distance towards the end of last season?
It's something we have been talking about for a while in the training squad, that people are like thinking that the younger athletes, when we were like juniors in Norway and we won like on the Olympic distance and sprint distance, people were still saying that but they can't do the half Ironman, or they can't do the Ironman. So then in 2016, Gustav Eden, he showed up at Haugesund, 70.3 there.
Yep.
And he won by like 10 minutes to the next Norwegian. And then I think the older athlete, they got like kind of a shock to see where the level were in the national team. And I felt like I also wanted to show my kind of level over the distance, but I also wanted to do it on a bigger stage.
Yep.
So that's why I tried to find like a bigger one, and also it had to be with the timing. Ideally, I would do one in February, but then I just saw Bahrain. It would be. I was hoping that the level would be good there, and luckily Javier was showing up, and it was good. It was fun.
Did you enjoy the experience? Would you like to do more this year?
Yeah, for sure. The plan was actually to do Dubai as well, because just after I finished the Bahrain race, I realized like if I just do the nutrition better and do a little bit better preparation, I can maybe be like 6-7 minutes better. So just by nailing the nutrition. So the plan was actually to do Dubai, but then I got sick during Christmas. So in the very last moment, I decided to not show up. But then the plan is to do Bahrain again at the end of this year, and hopefully with a little bit more better preparation and a little bit better, or one more race in experience. I guess the race can be even better.
Hadn't you only had 4 or 5 days on your bike outside before Bahrain 70.3?
I got the bike 3 weeks before, but then I only were riding on it indoors in Norway. So actually I came to Bahrain without riding on it. So like the Monday before the race, I had like my first session on it outdoors, I think. And,
there's 4 minutes at least right there.
Yeah, so I think by riding it, I can go faster, and also like using a disc wheel and a little bit like that. It was on the first two rides, it was like uncomfortable, like finding the balance and so yeah, just luckily it wasn't a really technical course, but I think just fine tuning the position, I can cut some time.
That's exciting. It'd be very, very exciting to see how swift you can go. I imagine Tokyo is your main target. Olympic champion, is that what you're after?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the dream to every athlete, to win on the biggest day. So that's like the main focus for this year as well, to just prepare for the 2020 Olympic Games.
And then do you think, having dabbled in 70.3, do you think one day you would step up to Ironman as well?
Yeah, definitely. Again, I think all triathletes have a dream about winning on Kona, and so do I. So, but I think it's too hard. Like you can't really combine full distance with the Olympic distance. So it's too much different. But combining the half distance is way easier. So I think I have to kind of make a change there one day. But I don't think it's really easy to come back again to the Olympic distance. So that will be for the future.
There's so much that you can do. This is what I love about this sport. When you were training for Bahrain, you posted a little picture. You put a few miles in on your bike. What was the biggest day that you did, or the biggest couple of days?
Yeah, we were just after the off season. No, we didn't really do an off season. We went straight up to Sierra Nevada for 3 weeks in altitude there, and there's like a training center in the top of the mountain in Spain. It's at 2,300 meters, and there's like one way that goes like either down or up to like 3,000. So in the first week we were like planning to do like just a long ride between 5 and 10 hours, and we were ending up at 8 something, and then we were like doing the math. Maybe if we are going out really early next week and kind of keeping the power high, we can maybe make it around the mountain, which will be like 305k. But then we were having a too long pizza break to lunch, so it got like with 3 hours left, it got too dark, and we had like the last 90 minutes with a car driving behind us and just showing the roads, and that wasn't really popular in Granada. We had made a lot of traffic behind, so it got too dark, and we ended up being driving up in a car up to the center. And then in the last week we were thinking, okay, if we are starting even before sunrise, and skipping the breakfast and then going out and having no pizza break, but just like going bang, bang, bang. Maybe we can make it around. And then, yeah, we did. We were like 3 guys cycling almost 12 hours, 305k, and we just broke the 6,000 meter elevation climbing as well. So it was a long day. So we didn't really have to do any more cycling that week.
That is a decent effort, over 300 kilometers. That's not your typical sort of ITU training.
Oh, but by the way, I was like smashed after that training camp. So I went back home and my legs were just gone. So I was like failing every bike session at home before Bahrain. Like 2 weeks before the race, I had like the lowest threshold I've ever done for the year. So I was like, I don't know how I will find my legs again. And then 3-4 days before the race in Bahrain, I started to feel good again. And yeah, it was like a bit scary leading up to the race with being in such a crappy shape.
That is insane. You are a machine.
Well, yeah, we do a lot of training, so.
It's good to know though that even your legs were completely smashed from a training camp.
Yeah. Well, the rare thing was that after the second ride, when we were out for like 10 hours, I felt like I could do a track session the day after. I was like flying on the run the following day, so I was kind of expecting the same after the 12 hours ride, but then I think we were all just smashed.
It's because you didn't have pizza.
I know, we should have pizza.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing next time.
That's
I
exactly it.
Should ask my coach to just drive ahead and then order the pizza, and then we can take it as we are riding.
Correct.
Yeah.
What is your favourite pizza? We need to ask this question.
Something with chicken and pesto.
Nice. Kristian, you are sort of slightly bigger for an ITU athlete. Does that mean, therefore, that courses, like flatter courses, are more suited to you?
I feel it for the run.
Mm-hmm.
It's better for me if it's as flat as possible. On the bike, it can be quite hilly, because then it's if you are sitting back in the group, it's hard to stay. You kind of have to ride up the hill anyway. You can't just be spinning around in the group. So if it's hilly on the bike, it's fine. If it's cobblestones on the bike, it's fine. It's even better. But if it's hilly on the run, like in Stockholm, it's a nightmare to deal with the hill. So I kind of have to mobilize a little bit for each time I'm going up the hill, and then kind of saving a little bit energy just to stay in the group.
I do. I love it, because obviously when you get to the run on a flat course, you know, you are as quick. You did what, 1:13 in Bahrain?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not shabby running. That is decent running. You can move. You can shift.
Well, I think 4 minutes there lost in the final lap. So the plan was to go way faster in Bahrain. So that's why I feel like I want to do it again, because I felt like I didn't really get out my potential in the race. So yeah, it's a lot to improve from that race, and I'm really keen to go back and race the same course. Hopefully it's the same course for next year or this year.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So first up of the World Triathlon Series is Abu Dhabi in very, very soon. Do you like this time when you're just waiting to race, you're waiting for that season opener, or do you find it really frustrating?
It's both. Like I would like to just get started, and also the early race is always difficult, because I know that maybe the Australians and people have been in warmer places and training, and maybe been racing more than I've done for the last few weeks, so they are maybe having a little bit more leg speed. So I reckon it's better to come to the European summer part of the year and racing like in June, July.
Do you get nervous before races now, or not really?
Not really. I like to think that it's just a great opportunity to race well or get out my potential. But if I think if you're getting nervous, it's because you're nervous for failing. And I try to not think about that. I think it's just a great opportunity to race well.
And your aims for this year then? Series leader overall, world champion.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main goal is to improve 2 steps in the overall standing. So it would be fantastic to win the overall series, and also I have the Bahrain race at the end of the year. That would be absolutely great.
Will you be doing Super League again this year as well?
Hopefully. So yeah, it'll be. It was really fun last year with both Hamilton and Jersey, so it will be great to see where the next event will be.
I think they're going to have it. Jersey's definitely. They've signed a contract for, I want to say
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, so there'll definitely be one in Jersey, won't there? And then there's something happening in Canada as well.
I think in Canada it's the qualification.
Okay.
So you can qualify into the Championship League.
Yep.
And also there, I think they will have one in Poland, a qualification race.
Yep.
So you can qualify into the Championship League. So I'm not going to go do that in Canada since I have already qualified.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And what did you love about the format of Super League?
I like that it's like racing. I prefer than Hamilton when it's like 3-day race rather than in Jersey when it only was 2 days. So if you feel like it's more like a stage race, like you see in cycling, where you have to be performing day after day. That's what I like most about it.
It looked brutal, like amazing, but brutal.
Yeah, it's so fun, especially if you're having a good day. If you are on the wrong side of the, if you're having a weekday, then it's like a nightmare. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed racing more in Jersey than in Hamilton, like with that smashing tough hill every, I don't know, 50 seconds.
That was ridiculous.
So, yeah, so I've never been feeling that weak on the bike before. So
not even 11 and a half hours into your ride.
No, that was actually great, because then you're like kind of having that boost that you've been riding for 11 hours and it's like 45 minutes left, and you feel like that you've been out for that long, and that kind of give you more energy. So at the end of that ride, I was like dancing up the hill. And since we are living on the top of the mountain there, the last an hour and 45 minutes is like a climb. So that was like, I felt strung up on the last hour there.
I love it. Kristian, best of luck for Abu Dhabi.
Well, thank you.
Keep on racing like you do, because it's brilliant to watch and it's really, really entertaining. And we are often rooting for you, as well as clearly our British athletes. You often get a special shout out.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
There you go. Good to get him on.
Great to get him on. And he is on his way, Rob, to Abu Dhabi. Or he will be there by the time you're listening to this. He will probably be out there for the season opener of the World Triathlon Series. And boy, it's going to be a good race out there, Rob.
Yeah, it's there's the big names are lining up, aren't they? So as well as Kristian, we've got both Brownlees.
Yep.
As far as I'm aware. Richard Murray.
Yep. Fernando Alasa. Yeah. Mario Mola.
Oh, great stuff.
Vincent Louis. Henry Schumann.
It's going to be interesting to see. Well, it's not going to be interesting to see. I was about to say it's only the end of February, but the season starts now. It's the big time, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
They're going to turn up ready to race in February.
Oh, absolutely. These guys are totally, because the Commonwealth Games are only sort of 6 weeks away. So for, four who we've just named there. So Murray and Schumann and the Brownies, they're going to be battling it out in Gold Coast to try to become Commonwealth champion.
Yeah. Do you know the date of that off the top of your head?
The actual triathlon race?
Yeah.
No. It's somewhere between the 5th and the 15th, but off the top of my head, I don't know where it is between that.
So mid-April then?
Yes, so the date, the Commonwealth Games start on the 5th and they finish on the 15th of April.
Oh, there we go. Good knowledge.
There you go. But I don't know the ins and outs of the programme. I'm sure I could have a quick look and I could tell you, but no, it's all right. We'll leave that
for me. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
Second week of April. There we go.
Yeah. So around Easter time. So so that is going to be a brilliant race in Abu Dhabi, and it comes around so quickly, doesn't it? And I heard that the Brownies were one of them said that Johnny said today that he feels his winter training hasn't quite been as, what was the word he used? I don't know. He hasn't maybe felt quite so good this season compared to other seasons over the winter with his winter training.
I heard an interview with him on, I think it was on Radio 4 this morning. Both him and Alistair were on. And I did think he didn't sound his usual totally confident self, actually. They quizzed him a bit about sort of racing in the heat and is it going to be really hot at the Commonwealths. And I thought he sounded a little bit hesitant. So we shall see, I guess.
We shall see. Yeah. So, Rob, other things that are happening in the world of racing is that Ironman New Zealand is coming up on March the 3rd.
Yes, at the end of the week for Ironman New Zealand. And they've got some quality athletes racing again down there this year. I was looking through the start list. Cam Brown's on the list again. So that must be, he's on the quest for win number, I'm going to guess and say...
Oh, I want to say like
13?
12. Yeah, I was going to say something like that.
We've also got Dylan McNeese and Guy Crawford racing, who are going really well at the moment. Joe Skipper from Great Britain's down there. So there's going to be some good racing goes on.
Sure thing. And then Jocelyn McCauley, who won last year the USA, is going to be racing in the women's up against Laura Siddle. Kate Bevilacqua was on that start list. Jessie Donovan. So some good racing in Taupo again, and another beautiful part of planet Earth, Rob.
Yeah, sounds like they've been having some rotten weather down there, though, from what I've been reading.
Well, I know that Australia is nowhere near New Zealand, but even in Australia, this past few days it's been sort of 15 degrees cooler than normal.
Wow.
Yeah. So there we go.
Suit the Brownlees, though.
Wanaka actually looked pretty. That looked a little bit like Wales. I think they were, Ironman Wales, and I think they were saying it was very biblical. So perhaps not quite that beautiful. Beautiful Southern Hemisphere summer. Rob, another interesting piece of news is that Zwift and Specialized have launched a triathlon academy.
Yeah, and it's seriously well funded as well, isn't it? It looks like they're aiming at age groupers, and they've offered 4 slots, and they're trying to get people who are of the standard to be confident of qualifying for Kona and racing out there. It says your training, your coaching, your gear, your flights, and your lodging in Kona is covered by us. And in addition to all that, they're giving you $1,500 essentially towards travel and race entry for a qualification race as well.
Which is brilliant. And then Tim Don is going to be on hand to deliver coaching advice. They'll be mentoring as well by Specialized athlete Lucy Charles. It's a really, really good initiative. And I know they did similar with cycling. So they've basically placed 3 cyclists in the pro cycling peloton through a partnership that they did with Canyon. So with the Canyon SRAM Racing and Team Dimension Data. So I think it's great, Rob.
Yeah, I think it's really it's going to be interesting to see the part that it plays in terms of raising the participation of people running on treadmills on Zwift, if that's going to be the focus of it. So I think it's going to work both ways, as well as helping out the athletes in terms of supporting really talented age groupers. I think we're going to see a big uptick in people using it for training, for the sort of the treadmill running aspect of things, which I've never done actually. I've not got access to a treadmill with all the linked up bits and bobs, but the shots I've seen make it look great. Certainly better than watching the telly as you're running, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done it before, and I really, next winter I need to get my backside into Zwift, because everyone I talk to says it's the best investment that they've
makes those
done.
miles fly by, and you can get training plans from your favourite coach in there as well, Hells.
Well, that's great.
So seriously, if your coach uses Training Peaks, then once you've linked your Zwift account and your Training Peaks account up, when you log in to Zwift, it just goes bing, your coach has sent you this workout, and you click on it and it tells you exactly on the screen, you should be riding at 200 watts or whatever for the next 5 minutes, and a little countdown happens, and so it structures your workout for you on the screen as you're going along. It's awesome.
That is very, very cool. Yeah, I think I do need to have a go next year, definitely. Do you go on it a couple of times a week?
Yeah. I haven't done so much this winter. I used it pretty religiously the last few winters. Not so much this winter, but I do get on there occasionally still.
I think it's good.
I need to raise my game a little bit.
I just think another way to train, essentially, and another way to prevent the dull monotony of a turbo, and actually to get a decent workout in.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. The two angles of it. The first one is that ease of transferring your Training Peaks workout into it means you get a quality workout done, as well as the option to race people and stuff if that's what you're into. The thing I remember being really impressed by in the early days of it was they've kind of gamified it. So you sort of accumulate points for the more miles you ride within Zwift, and as you get more points you get to level 2, level 3, then you can unlock different wheels and different jerseys for your rider. And although it sounds a bit like whatever, it was actually quite motivating at times to go, well, I've only got to keep going for another 10 minutes and I can get to the next level or whatever. So I really quite enjoyed that, and I've got no interest in playing the PlayStation or whatever outside of this. So yeah, anything that encourages you to get the miles in.
Yeah, I need to get on it. Get on it. That's what I need to do. But never mind.
One for next winter, hey.
One for next winter. Yep. I think by the time this minging weather's out the way, Rob, I'll be out on my bike. She says confidently. Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my athletes, Sylvie. I happened to look at her account today. She's training for some massive sportif ride, and she did just shy of 7 hours on Zwift this weekend, going round and round the island. Yeah, and I was looking at it going, I thought that's a good ride, getting 7 hours in at this time of year. And then I was like, oh, it's in Zwift as well. So fair play, Sylvie. Doff of the cap to you, getting the work done.
That is really good going, Rob, this time of year. Yeah, I'm impressed. Very impressed.
Yes, that's just a little warm-up for what she's got planned, I think.
How far is she going to be cycling? To put us all to shame?
I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I feel like I want to say 300 miles. Or maybe 300 kilometres. It was something so insanely big.
All in one go?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good chunk. Yeah.
It sure is. It's nice work. Good stuff. Hey, well, listen, we're pretty much there, aren't we, for this week? That's pretty much all the news that's fit to talk about.
I think that is your up to date, Rob, with all things triathlon, and a brilliant interview with Kristian Blummenfelt. We now know his favourite pizza flavour, which that is clearly key. But no, in all seriousness, it'll be. I'm looking forward to seeing what else he can do. Over the next few seasons, he is one ridiculously talented guy.
And talking to you, I'm sure, has fired him up to go for the win even more this weekend, Hells. Have your words of encouragement ringing in his ears, won't he?
Maybe not.
All right, listen, don't forget, send in your nominations for the Tribe Triathlete Month of the Award. Shall I say that again? Triathlete of the Month Award to helen@oxygenaddict.com. You can get yourself a sample pack using the code OxygenAddict1 at wearetribe.co. You can get a free box or tube of Precision Hydration worth up to $9.99 with the code OxygenAddict. And you can get Helen's Fueled by Cake book at fueledbycake.com. And lastly, before we finish, Hells, I saw somebody got, was it Book of the Week in Time Out magazine this week?
Oh, not in Time Out magazine. Wow. No, but in Outdoor, it used to be called Outdoor Fitness, but I think it's now Outdoor Radar. Yes, which is great.
Oh, I thought the screenshot was from, I said Time Out at the top, and I thought, fair play, that's impressive.
No.
It's an outdoor. Oh, there you go. I'm talking you up too much. Book of the Week in The Guardian. Well done, mate. Well done.
It used to be Outdoor Fitness magazine. So yeah, really
Still, that's great.
Really chuffed that it's in there. And I've sold quite a few over the past couple of weeks.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah. Honestly, it's so again, seriously, people keep on buying them, which I'm very, very grateful for. And I did have a full box in my kitchen earlier this month, and I'd say it's probably about a third full now. So, yep, that's definitely going. And in my locker at work as well, that one's going down bit by bit as well. So people do continue to spread the word, which I am so grateful for. And we continue towards that £15,000 target. Not near there yet, but we'll get there.
We will. So fueledbycake.com to get yourself one. I reckon it would make an ideal Mother's Day present.
I think you're right.
Get on it, guys.
Easter present, birthday present, Mother's Day present, just a friend's present, any kind of present. Yeah, and it's all for local hospice to me, Melanoma UK, and young epilepsy.
Good stuff. All right, listen, thanks very much for listening, everybody. It's been the Oxygen Addict Triathlon Podcast. I'm Coach Rob Wilby.
I'm Helen Murray, and congratulations again to Rob Wadsworth for winning the Tribe Oxygen Addict Athlete of the Month.
Jolly good. And until next week, have a great, safe training and racing week. Keep yourself wrapped up nice and warm if it's chilly where you are. And until next week, we'll speak to you again then. Cheers, everyone. See ya.